world full of Uniteds.
It is a magic moment from Heung-min Son!
Cities.
Through to Lucas Moura!
And Rovers.
Harry Kane! Oh, what a goal!
There is only one Hotspur.
Glory, glory, Tottenham Hotspur!
Hello and welcome back to the One Hotspur podcast. I'm Toby from Spurs Center, and today I'm joined by Bodhi from Hotspur.industry. How you doing, Bodhi?
I'm doing all right. Yourself?
I'm doing pretty well. So it's been a while, but we're going to try to catch you up on everything that we've missed. Starting with our 3-2 win over Newcastle, all the way back on October 17th. Kane got his first goal and first assist of the season, as well as a goal from Tanguy Ndombele and Heung-min Son. What were your thoughts on that game and your thoughts on Kane especially?
Don't blame me for my memory being a bit rusty. It's kind of difficult to remember that far back. But sorry, what were you saying again? Sorry.
Well, let's talk about Harry Kane, given that was his first goal contributions of the season.
Oh yeah, okay.
What are your thoughts on Kane? He scored a hat trick for England yesterday.
Yeah.
But just overall, what are your thoughts on him this season?
I think I genuinely think he's being very unfair to the club. I feel like he's playing poorly on purpose, and I'm not going to just completely accuse him, but I do feel like that's what's happening because you know it's no coincidence where you don't score for multiple games at Spurs and then you score a hat trick and what was it, a scissor kick, getting hat trick for England. You know that just you can't make that up. So I mean, I would have thought he would have been playing better with Conte appointed, but it seems he still really wants that move to City. And honestly, at this point, I just give him it because we have players that we could sign for cheaper than he would go, younger, would fit a system to where the team doesn't completely rely on that one player. Like apparently this Vlahovic guy seems to be pretty decent, so we may as well go for him. You know, so it's just a poor situation on everyone's part. But I think Kane really needs to start because he's letting everyone down.
Yeah, I wish we could go back in time and tell Levy to accept the 100 million. I think I don't know if they got any higher than that, Man City, but to just accept the highest bid that he could get out of him. Because honestly, I'd rather have Son starting a striker with Bergwijn on the left and Lucas on the right, or whatever formation we're playing, even if it's just like Son and Lucas up top, if we're gonna go to the 3-5-2. But I saw someone saying that the England team was just so much better quality than Spurs, and that was the reason why Kane was doing better with them. But it's so clear that his motivation is on two completely separate levels, because you can't tell me that England team is so much better than Spurs. I mean, yeah, they're better than Spurs probably, but we have some class players on our team. Tanguy Ndombele, Heung-min Son. I rate Lucas Moura really highly. Emerson, I've been really impressed with. Cuti Romero has been doing very well. Sergio Reguilon has been doing very well. We have the players in our team, and I don't think it's Kane necessarily playing poorly on purpose, but I do think that it's Harry Kane not putting any effort in at all, which is really frustrating to see. But,
the time he's invisible.
Yeah, I hope that Antonio Conte. Well, I mean, I'm assuming Kane will get the start against Leeds, especially after that hat trick. But if he plays like he's been playing, I hope Conte drops him, to be honest.
Yeah. And it will happen as well, because that's the type of manager Conte is. If Kane's not performing, he'll bench him for Scarlett.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't put Scarlett in.
But that's how extreme he is with his team selection. Every spot is available, no matter how good you are. And that's just how it's going to go. So.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Moving on from Kane and Newcastle, we then went to lose to Vitesse, who, speaking of Dane Scarlett, he got another start in that game. And Dylan Markanday came off the bench and had a little cameo, which I was fairly impressed with. I thought he did pretty well considering he only had 15 minutes on the pitch. But
He did look very bright anytime he had the ball. Like there was this one move that he done. It's like when you take it down the wing and then you do like an
Mhm.
inset and then take it around the outside.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Chris MD?
Mhm.
Yeah, well that's like his signature move, and he done that in game, and then
Mhm.
send one of their players to the shops. I was like, Jesus Christ, this kid's gonna be insane.
Yeah.
But
Dylan
he
Markin,
looks
I'd say outside of maybe Troy Parrott and Dane Scarlett is probably the brightest player in our academy as of right now. This season so far in Premier League 2, he has 10 goals and 2 assists in 10 matches, which
see
is
that's
just
really
that
good.
is insane numbers, especially considering he's not a striker. He plays off the wing. So, I mean, he has been playing up top a little bit because we loaned out Kiana Tate and Troy Parrott, and then Dane Scarlett's been training with the first team. But, overall, I think there's big, big things to come from Dylan Markandé, and I'm extremely happy about it and looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too.
I think the less we say about Vitesse, though, the better. Move on to another, like, just disappointing game. The last game in which we've had a shot on target, I might add, which was the 1-0 loss to West Ham.
That was a tough one to take because there's someone in my class who supports West Ham, and as soon as I lost that game, taking the absolute piss out of me, and I just it was horrendous. But
Mhm.
it's like at that point, it's not even a fact of like the taking the Mickey out of you. You just feel embarrassed for yourself
Yeah.
because of how you have to put up with watching them. It's
Mhm.
like, and I see Spurs does this a lot to me where I can't speak English because they just
Yeah.
annoy me so much. But yeah, I got proper shat on by everyone I know because everyone I
Mhm.
know supports Chelsea, Arsenal, or West Ham,
Yeah.
and I'm the only Spurs fan a lot. So I just got I just got destroyed by all of them. So that wasn't fun.
Yeah.
But I was looking more at the performance and just thinking, Jesus, what is wrong with us?
Yeah.
And
And
then
the
that
thing
was
was,
the
on that day, I didn't think West Ham were particularly good. It was just we were particularly bad,
yeah.
which is just disappointing. But
Well, that's how it always goes with West Ham. We always play
yeah.
poor, they play average, and then they just come out on top.
Mhm. Yeah, it's disappointing for sure. Moving on to our next game, the Carabao Cup, we beat Burnley 1-0 thanks to a Lucas Moura header off of an Emerson cross. Um, I mean, I think this is probably the best thing that Nuno did during his time was keep us in the Carabao Cup with the win over Wolves and now the win over Burnley. I think, with Conte in, I don't see why we can't challenge to win it, especially given that City's already been knocked out. Just a quick reminder: the teams left are Arsenal, Sunderland, Brentford, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Leicester, and West Ham, who we face in the next match or in the next round. Um, and I mean, only 3 other Big Six teams left, and Leicester or Liverpool is going to be knocked out, given that they're playing each other next. And then if we beat West Ham, it would probably more than likely be Arsenal, Chelsea, and then either Liverpool or Leicester, which I think is an extremely winnable, as long as we don't get Liverpool, because we never seem to be able to beat them. But I'd take Arsenal or Chelsea, to be honest. I think we could beat either one of them on our day, and I think we could win the whole thing. But what are your thoughts on the Carabao Cup and that win over Burnley?
Burnley is a team where it's like I always considered Burnley like a bogey team for us, but then in recent games we've just absolutely torn them apart, and I
Mhm.
kind of feel sorry for them because it's like you're getting thrashed by Tottenham. There's
Yeah.
something wrong with you.
Mhm.
But we could win it. It all I'll be completely honest with you. Unless we buy players in January, but there's no chance whatsoever that we're winning this cup. But we
Well, it looks
can
like we're
win
going to sign some players in January. So
yeah, hopefully. But we can win the cup given players that have been signed. And under Conte, players he can do a lot to a group of players, even if they're not good, which is perfect for us because we are shocking.
Mhm.
Um, I just it's You just wish that you'd be challenging for more difficult cups rather than something like
Yeah.
Carabao Cup. But you know what? With how bad we are, anyways, I'll take
Mhm.
it if we win it.
And how long it's been since we've won a trophy. Like, I'd take it within a heartbeat.
Too long. Too long.
Yeah, much too long. Anyhow, moving on to our next game, Nuno's final game in charge, the 3-0 loss to Man United. And I think this really just encompassed the Nuno tenure at the club. Just poor lineup decisions. I don't understand why Ben Davis started that game. I still can't wrap my head around why he started him over Sergio Reguilon. And then dropping Tanguy and Domblé for Gio Lo Celso is slightly more forgivable, but I don't get why you would drop Domblé given that he was one of our better players in the past couple match weeks before that. Yeah.
See, I used to think Lo Celso was going to be like some really special talent when he first joined, and for the first 6 months. But now he's just, I don't know, since that injury and he's came back, he just hasn't been the same. It's the same with Reguilon. You know, the two, if they keep playing the way they are, they may as well just leave.
I disagree with that. I think that Gio Lo Celso and Sergio Reguilon are on two very different levels right now. I think Sergio Reguilon's playing quite well, actually. He has the most assists in the Premier League for us this season. He has 2. And Gio Lo Celso is just, he's on, I don't know what he's doing. There's such a difference in between his level for Argentina and his level for Spurs. I don't understand what it is. I don't think it's a lack of effort like it is in the Harry Kane case, but there's something. Maybe it's the coaching, maybe he's more familiar with the players. But for Argentina, he plays exceptionally well. When you look at the Copa America, he was one of Argentina's most important players. And then he comes back to Spurs and he can barely connect the pass. It's mind-boggling, really. I don't understand
You know
it
what? One
whatsoever.
player. I mean, while we're on the talk of like this whole thing that's going on, one player that just came to my mind is how the hell is Davinson Sanchez not getting a game? I don't get it. Every single time he's played, he's been fantastic since the
Well,
season started. It just hasn't made sense to me.
because I mean, Cuti Romero and Eric Dyer have been fantastic. I don't see any reason to drop either one of them.
Because Sanchez is better than Dyer. Like at this
But we
season,
need someone to be like, in my opinion, I think we need Dyer in the starting 11 so he can be a leader, whatever you want to call it, and like organize the back three. I think playing Sanchez and Romero together would be.
But the thing is, right? You see, Dyer may have that commanding sort of presence in this back line, but is he actually quality enough to make a starting lineup that's going to win things? Absolutely not. He'd suit a team like Burnley or like a lower.
That's a little
tier
harsh.
team. Nah, it's not harsh because he's a big guy. He can be consistent on his days, and he would suit the style of play that they set up with. And it's not like demoting his quality because he can be good on his days, very good, but he's not a player that's going to win you trophies, which is the whole
And
reason
Davinson
why.
Sanchez is.
Well, he's better than Dyer.
I disagree. I think I like Sanchez.
Would you rather? Okay, well, in this case, would you rather have Sanchez or Davies in the back line with them too?
Okay, well, in an ideal world, Davinson Sanchez would be left-footed, so I'd play him in the spot where Ben Davis is. But I do understand why Conte's opted to start Davis in the back three to get like someone who's left-footed and can play going up the left side more comfortably. But like I said, in an ideal world, one of Dyer, Sanchez, or Romero, or even Joe Rodon would be left-footed, and we could play them in that spot over Ben Davis. But I'm hoping in the January transfer window, we will probably sell either Sanchez or Dyer and then replace them with a left-footed center back.
I don't know. I'd rather, if I'm being honest with you, I'd rather what do you call it? I'd rather sell Davies and get a left-footed centre back like Bastoni or Romagnoli. Is that how you pronounce his name? Or
something like that. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, him. And those are 2 players that we could get instantly.
Yeah,
they'd want to come to Spurs, and then honestly, at this rate, in the January transfer window, the attack may be lacking, but realistically, you want to get 2 defenders in. Reguilon, I don't know about him. We'll give him the rest of the season. He could probably do it.
And then you got Sessegnon, who's always injured, but
Yeah.
it hasn't affected us too much as of yet.
Mhm.
And for me personally, I'd prioritize maybe I would prioritize a striker and two centre backs and Kessie on a free if we can get him. If
Mhm.
we can get him straight away, that's even better.
Well, yeah.
for me, for me, if the ideal world would
Mhm.
see us getting him on a free, and then we get two centre backs really good, like a Bastoni and a Skriniar, and someone like Vlahovic, because that's the talk. The talk is that we can spend up to £400 million and not exceed financial fair play because we've
Yeah.
spent that little over the transfer window.
I
Like
think
you
is
see
we
PSG.
can, but we won't because it's Daniel Levy in charge. There's no way
No, but
he's going to spend.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. The talk is, according to various sources, I don't know the specific names of them, but some have said that there is a chance we could be spending up to 150 million in this transfer window. Now, I don't know
Yeah.
about you, but you can get some pretty decent players with 150 million. And knowing the likes of Paratisi, you'll find a lot of there could be swaps involved. You could
Yeah.
find, like, how you said with like Conte before when that deal broke down,
Mhm.
Sanchez was likely to go the other way. A
Mhm.
deal like that could end up happening.
Yeah.
Like Ben Davies, if Ben Davies would do well in a not a lower tier league, but like a slower pace,
Mhm.
because he's
Like League
quite
One.
rash under pressure. But if he goes to a team like Inter somewhere,
Mhm.
he would do well there, and that's
I see him
and,
like
and like
Marseille.
yeah, exactly. So you'll find that a lot of like players that don't cut it will end up leaving on swaps, and I could see,
Mhm.
in all honesty, if Kane were to leave this January, which is unlikely, but if he ever were, I'd see Vlahovic, Skriniar, and a left-footed centre back coming to the club.
Mhm. Well, Skriniar is actually left-footed, so actually I think he is. Hold on, let me check.
Skriniar's right-footed.
Oh, he is. My bad.
Yeah, he's right-footed.
But yeah, I don't know. No, actually, Skriniar is left-footed.
Is he?
Yeah, he is.
What
So
the
that would be
frick?
ideal, getting him in. But yeah, I think for me, my top priorities would definitely be getting in another striker, someone that could play up top. Like I would take Carlos Vinicius back in a heartbeat right now. I know he signed for PSV, so it's not going to happen. But I would like definitely take him back if he was like primarily as a backup. But I would take someone of his level in if we could get it. And then obviously Dusan Vlahovic would be like the ideal the ideal signing, I should say.
Skriniar is right-footed.
What?
Skriniar is right-footed. I've just checked on FIFA here.
I checked on a Thought Mob. It says left-footed. Let's try Google. But yeah, like I was saying, and then I would try to get in a creative midfielder and a center back. That would be like my ideal thing, getting in a striker, creative midfielder, and a center back. But yeah. Anyhow, got derailed there a little bit. After the Man United game, Antonio Conte was brought in. What were your thoughts on Antonio Conte?
Oh yeah, sorry, Conte. Conte, this one no one can deny. He is an absolutely fantastic appointment. We could have gone better.
Mhm.
For what this club needs, we're in need of a dire rebuild, and Conte, he's the type of guy that knows exactly who he needs, and as soon as he gets that one player that he needs, we'll be flying. So it's not going to be a slow process of building large amounts of cash to get to an attractive brand of football. He knows exactly who he can get, and he's like type of manager that can win things, but can win things sooner than any other manager.
Yeah.
He's already thinking about winning the league the next season. You know how
Mhm.
mad that is that he's already thinking about that, and
Yeah.
the likes of Nuno was thinking of, oh, Europe. If I could get Europa League and then maybe try and get the Conference League final or win it, that would be a good season for me. Conte's
Mhm.
already thinking about Champions League this season and then winning the
Yeah.
league next season. That's the difference in quality between certain managers
Mhm.
and their ambition for clubs. And
Yeah.
I think more excitingly than anything with the appointment of Conte is we know because of his ambition and his wanting to spend money, we know
Mhm.
Levy's going to spend money because why he can't. There's no way he's going to pull a manager like Conte without guaranteeing funds for the season. And that's exactly why Conte turned down in the summer because Levy didn't want to spend that money, and that was the quote unquote lack of ambition, lack
Mhm.
to spend money to win trophies. And then after Nuno was sacked, they realized, oh wait, we actually need to spend money here if we're gonna get any sort of recovery. And I'm glad that they finally realized this because this has been said for so long. And he says, and Paratici says to Conte, "Will you join this time?" And then they find out the negotiations, they get it done, and we can't argue. It's one of the best managerial appointments we've ever had in the history of Spurs. It's fantastic. Like
Yeah.
he's one of the biggest names Tottenham have ever had,
Mhm.
since being founded. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see how we can do, and if he can bring us to the next level that we're looking for.
Mhm.
So we'll just wait and see.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's all we can do at this point. Conte's first match in charge was the 3-2 win over Vitesse. Game 5 goals, 3 red cards, an own goal, and Harry Winks passing forward. I mean, we really saw everything in this game. What were your thoughts on it? And
I didn't actually watch a lot of that game. I watched a
mhm.
bit of it, but I didn't watch the last 30, which is apparently when it got really tasty.
Yeah.
But I we definitely we all like we always do when we get a new manager, we had that little spark of like a new motivation with a new manager, which will
Uh-huh.
eventually diminish unless we sign some players, and we'll end up
Yeah.
the same thing with Conte as any other managers. But we looked more organized. We looked like an actual team that was like playing to win the game rather than just all over the place trying to do their own thing, get
Uh-huh.
something going, like a couple of mates playing a game of football.
Yeah.
So, that's a positive sign. But the fact that we went up 3-0 and still conceded two, that's scary.
Yeah. Reminds me
If
of
that
the
like
West Ham and Bournemouth games
exactly,
under
yeah,
Mourinho.
exactly. That's kind of that worries you, and you're thinking of other times, and you think, even no, and then you look at that game and you think 3-2 against Vitesse. Okay, so Vitesse is nowhere near as well known as teams like West Ham, Bournemouth, and we're tying and we're going 3-2 to them and barely scraping the win. To be fair,
Yeah.
and you think, and then you look back to when that happened. You figured 3 to Vitesse. We have gone absolutely nowhere in the league at all.
Hmm.
We've like since those games we've gone essentially nowhere. We've signed a couple players, but it's in the process of where we're stuck in the same place. And,
Hmm.
until we sign statement players, we're not going to go anywhere. We're going to be stuck forever unless we
Yeah.
spend the money that's required to get there. Because realistically, we have everything we need. We have the stadium, the training facilities, we have the manager, we have some really top tier players. All we need is to convince the players to come through strength of ambition and money, because
Hmm.
that's how you get the players, the wage bill and the money, and so
Yeah. And
we just
trophies.
it's always gonna go the same way with this. With what I'm gonna say, it's always gonna be the same. We just gotta hope that in January transfers are happening. Which if they don't, then we should be asking serious questions over
Hmm.
why Conte even signed in the first place.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. Uh, last game up, the 0-0 draw against Everton. I think disappointing. Kane, like we said earlier, didn't play particularly well. I don't think we played particularly well. I was impressed by Doherty actually when he came on. But what were your thoughts? Yeah, Richard Kane.
You know what? Dodgy done. Considering the fact he's right-footed, he didn't do terribly as a
Yeah.
left wing, but it was definitely odd. Like we had never seen that before. It was really odd to see. I was a bit confused. Like, wait, what's going on here? I don't like this a bit. I don't really like this. I
Yeah.
was getting a bit nervous when I saw it, but
Yeah,
my
same.
nerves settled a bit when I saw that. He wasn't doing horribly. He was doing
Yeah.
okay. And it was a very cagey affair, but there was definitely a lot of signs of like stability, and we were working the ball around very well sometimes. And I'm
Mhm.
sorry, I just have to appreciate this. Emerson is a fucking baller. You can bleep that
Yeah.
out if you want. Emerson is a baller.
Yeah. No, I love
Emerson
Everson.
is what a player. Like at first when we signed and like Nuno like back five, and I was thinking, okay, so he's like a six. He's quite tall and stocky for like
Hmm.
his position. I'm kind of thinking, will he end up being like another one of those back three, like Tanganga type of centre backs, like a
Hmm.
Tomiyasu, or will he end up being
Yeah.
an attacking wing back? And I agreed with what the Spanish journalist said when he first signed, saying it could either be a big hit and miss for Emerson.
Hmm.
He's got a very good attacking presence, but it was very it's been a huge success so far. He's grown into the season, to the team.
Hmm.
Every game he's looking like one of the standout players. And him and Romero together look so comfortable on the ball. And that's what
Yeah.
we've been missing for a long time, is the stability at the back to be able to take the ball, pass it around, and work something, because that's where the whole attraction started. It started from having a comfortable back line who was
Hmm.
constantly relied on defensively and on the ball. And that's the one thing you need, because Romero and Emerson and Galini, they're all
Hmm.
comfortable on the ball.
Yeah.
And and Sanchez was starting to get comfortable on the ball, and Dyer's I don't know, Dyer's hit and miss on the ball. Usually he's very
Hmm.
good in the air most of the time, but sometimes his marking and his overall defending can be poor. But that's not
Hmm.
my point. And then Davies, he's too rash. He's literally the definition of not comfortable on the ball for a
Hmm.
defender. As soon as he's being pressured, he hoofs it up the field and we lose possession. And that's the only reason why he can't be a top tier player at Tottenham, because
Hmm.
because not only is his defending terrible at times, but on the ball, it's always on the ball. You think, okay, right, he's being pressured, right? Let's just watch him hoof it up. Let's see how far he can kick it.
Hmm.
That's just, and that's how it goes. So it's not it's really refreshing to see the stability that we've been missing for so long with players like
Hmm.
Emerson and Romero. Thought the midfield looked very promising. Some parts of it was a bit dodgy, but for the most part, they look very good.
Yeah.
It was once again, it was a bit of a lack of creativity. Wait, what was the score again? It was 0-0,
No,
wasn't it?
no. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it was a lack. It was definitely a lack of like creativity, and
Yeah.
Son wasn't clinical on the day, which was a big downfall for us. I believe there was one chance in particular where he got played through by Kane and Emerson. It was one or the
Uh-huh.
other, and it was a one-on-one, and he absolutely fluffed it.
Hmm.
And that's when you're like, oh, come on, you have to be doing better than that. Like that's a game-defining chance. And at the end of the day, it did define the game, and we were in pole position to win that if Son
Hmm.
scored, and we probably would have scored more if he scored that first chance. And we also had more as well, and it's just nothing went our way that game, and it was a really undeserved draw in my opinion. And I don't know if I've said this before on this pod, but I hate Everton so much.
Hmm.
I really hate Everton's fans in particular. It's mainly their fans. I really dislike them.
Hmm.
Uh, if you're an Everton fan listening, don't take offense to it. I've had bad experiences with Everton fans.
Hmm.
I just overall don't really like them very much. And so that was one of the more annoying things for me, was the fact that it was an undeserved draw. Like I'll be able to
Yeah.
happily admit that, we got comfortably beat and we got outplayed if we were
Yeah.
playing good or bad or whatever else. But that was an undeserved draw, and we should have won that game comfortably as well.
Yeah.
But we take the points and we move it. We can't change it now.
Yeah. We desperately need to get back above Arsenal, though. I can't stand Arsenal fans right now. They're getting like one decent bit of form for the first time in like 3 years, and now they're talking and talking and talking. Oh my god! Someone needs to
You
put
know
them
what?
back in their place.
At the end of the day, we can let them do that because that's the whole reason. Like, they're doing that now because they know in the next few weeks that form's going to be gone again, and they're gonna have to just pity their team again while everyone's laughing at them because that's what was happening. Literally, everyone was laughing at them. So
Yeah.
you know what? Fair enough to them to savoring the moment while they have it. Because
Mhm.
I've realistically, Spurs fans, they saved the moment when they were at top of the table with Jose, and then we fell off, and everyone was
Yeah.
laughing at us.
Mhm.
Every fan of a club does the same thing. So it's just, I really hope that they dip soon because they don't
Yeah.
deserve to be doing well. Their fans don't deserve happiness. Um. Uh. But honestly, I don't blame them for the way they act, and I would act the completely same way if we were doing well.
Mhm. Yeah. All right, then I think that's every game. I think that's pretty much it. I don't know if there's anything else that's happened. I did want to mention Kiana Tate out on loan to
Yeah.
Northampton in League Two. Prior to today's game, he had 4 goal contributions in the last 4 games. So good for
I
him.
heard he's been doing very well.
Yeah. Well, he didn't start off. I mean, he started off really strongly. Like his debut was a brace. He scored twice. But after that, he didn't score. So the brace was on August 11th, and then he didn't score again until October 19th. But he scored on October 19th, scored again on October 23rd, provided an assist on October 30th, and then most recently scored in the FA Cup on November 6th. So, I mean, all things considered, that's pretty good. And then today he didn't score. So they lost 2-1 to Bristol Rovers. But yeah, I think a lot of
He
people were
looks
kind
like
of
he's doing
counting.
well.
Yeah, but a lot of people have been counting him out. I think like not going to have a chance at Spurs because of Troy Parrott and Dane Scarlett, who seem to be ahead of him in terms of getting chances in the first team. But I think if he can continue this form throughout the season,
But that's why it's so good that we have Conte because, like I said before, everyone gets the same opportunities, and they're all out on loan as well. Scarlett's getting the first hand, and then I reckon Scarlett will end up getting loaned out if he's next season and even in January if he's not doing well, and he'll bring back
he can't
Troy
leave.
Parrott.
He can't. He's too young. He can't be loaned out until next summer. But yeah, I agree. I think depending on how Troy finishes this season, and depending on if we sign anyone in January, I could see Troy being brought in as the backup, especially if we sell Kane. And maybe we sign Joseph Vlahovic and we bring in Troy as the backup after that. Or if we decide to keep Kane and we sign another striker, then I could see all 3 strikers potentially going out: Dane Scarlett, Troy Parrott, and Kiana Tate. Getting some more time. Hopefully, Troy back into the championship next season, given that he's currently in League One, and Tete hopefully moving up to League One. And I assume Dane Scarlett would probably start in League One as well. But yeah, I think that's the only academy side of things that I really wanted to bring up. Oh, actually, sorry, one more thing. Alfie Whiteman, I think is how you say it. Alfie Whiteman, maybe.
Yeah.
Playing for Degerfors in, I think, Sweden. But he's been doing really well. So happy for him. But I just wanted to also throw that out there.
You know what? I feel Harvey White's gone completely invisible at Tottenham. He was like considered like a really big prospect that's been on loan. No one's really talked about him much.
Mm-hmm. He scored a few goals this season for the under 23s. But
I
don't know why he
left.
wasn't sent out on loan again this season. Considering he did pretty well at Portsmouth in the second half of last season. But yeah, hopefully he gets another move this January.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about today?
Well, there's nothing in particular, so I guess not.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. We appreciate you, and we'll catch you in the next one. Come on, you Spurs.